Hey everybody, welcome back to today's show. Can't wait to get into a new topic for many people, but it is something that you're going to start to see over and over in the news. So before you see that, before you get worried, what I want you to be able to do is understand this topic. So they're called forever chemicals. This is really important. I'm going to read you a White House press briefing. It's on whitehouse.gov. I'm going to link up all the research for you here today, tell you what forever chemicals are all about, why, yes, there is something to be aware about. Yes, we should be worried about them, but we can absolutely do something with how we shop and also how we're able to get them out of our body. So let's go over this right now. Again, really important topic. And then we're going to talk about the overall issue with bringing about all of these warnings in this kind of new world that we live in, which is full of toxicity, meaning like how much should we be worried about? So let's go over all of that right now. This was from a press briefing just about a week ago. I'm actually just going to read you it verbatim and then we can go through it. So yesterday, the Biden-Harris administration announced new action to protect communities from per- and polyfluoroalkyl substances. Those are referred to as PFAS pollution. The first ever national standard to address PFAS contamination in drinking water delivers on President Biden's commitment to protect public health and advancing environmental justice. And it builds on 2 years of action to ensure every community has access to clean drinking water, which, by the way, we know people do not. That's just my little aside. Free of chemicals and pollutants that harm the health and well-being of children, families, and communities. The EPA anticipates the first ever PFAS drinking water standard that would prevent thousands of deaths and reduce tens of thousands of serious PFAS attributable illnesses. All right, so let's go through this right now. This is really important because this has been around for a long time. I'm going to share with you probably 60 plus years. And this is scary stuff. And the reason is we're going to talk about all the different health issues that come with per- and polyfluoroalkyl substances. So let's go over what those are, where you're most likely to encounter them, and then what we can do to mitigate these issues, because you can't just bury your head in the sand. I mean, you can't. We'll go over this just briefly right now. But so many people are saying right now, natural health is just about fear-mongering and bringing all these things out. And I'll tell you, I'm going to be going over this maybe a little bit on tomorrow's show with my research. I agree. I think that people are in the natural health world without real education on a topic are telling you all these things to be worried about. Oh, you're worried about lectins and you're worried about oxalates and you're worried about stevia and you're worried about, it's like everything there's something to worry about. You can be worried about everything. And then they point to research studies, and if they actually read the research instead of the headline, many of these are absurd. Like the one on stevia that just came out, which the one on erythritol is real, but we don't actually know if that's from erythritol or sugar alcohol, which I'm not an advocate of sugar alcohols in the first place, or metabolic syndrome. We don't actually know because they weren't actually measured, right? We knew these people probably had metabolic syndrome, but we don't know if they were actually consuming sugar alcohol. So again, that's why you have to take research at face value up front. But just again, the one on stevia is it was done in a test tube, and they put stevia on or in with actual progesterone-based cells. The level of stevia and a progesterone cell meeting each other in the body is not going to happen. So again, we have to be careful. I love the research. I love looking at these things. I keep an open mind. But for sure, we know that this is stevia, for example, is a healthy sweetener alternative, not a artificial one. It's all natural from a plant. So when you look at things like monk fruit or stevia, they're much more likely to always be healthier than something like an aspartame or a sucralose or any one of these that are actually lab made, that actually the molecule was made up, that is not part of the human body. So again, I agree. And I want to say with you, I think that there should not be as much fear mongering as there is. But at the same time, the natural health industry has to talk about these things because it's been around for 60 years and the government, I don't care if it's Republican or Democrat, they're just bringing it up now. And it's leading to not thousands, tens of thousands of deaths and potentially many more illnesses I'm going to share. So we can't not talk about them. The thing is, we just have to be able to then work as to not allowing ourselves and our family, our children are just much more susceptible to being exposed to these things to the best of our ability. All right. So again, we have to find that happy medium. And that's where I think we're going to be best served. All right. So what are PFASs? In 1946, so obviously this is now 80 years ago, DuPont introduced non-stick cookware with Teflon. Today, the family of fluorinated chemicals that sprang from Teflon include thousands of non-stick, stain-repellent, and waterproof compounds called PFAS, short for per- and polyfluoroalkyl substances. PFAS are used in a staggering array of consumer products and commercial applications. Decades of heavy use have resulted in contamination of water, soil, and the blood of people and animals in the farthest corners of the world, meaning like people all over the world, doesn't matter where you live, have these things in their blood. PFAS are incredibly persistent and never break down in the environment. This is from the Environmental Working Group, by the way. I'm going to link all of this up for you here today. And they remain in our body for years. So I will go through the Teflon issues, the 3M issues. They've since replaced a lot of those issues or a lot of those products, but they've only replaced them with other PFAS products that are most likely to cause you just as much harm. Let me share with you what some of those are, and I'll link up a photo today with all the research at stephencabral.com/2617. Of course, all the show notes, all the links, all the resources. It's always free. Every podcast, every day. Head on over to stephencabral.com/2617 for the whole list. All right, here they go. Water-resistant clothing, paint, cosmetics, carpet, pesticides, microwave popcorn bags, and that includes bags for fast food pastries to go. Sometimes even receipts have this on them, like that stickiness of the paper, stain-resistant products like stain-resistant clothing as well, stain-proof furniture, fast food packaging, non-stick cookware, personal care products, firefighting foams. We probably won't be, as exposed to those, but firefighters certainly would be, right? And then some of these certainly with flame retardants as well. And again, I talked about that with mattresses and children's mattresses, especially like infant and child mattresses being flame retardants. I know that the people who created that were probably doing it with a good intention. We obviously don't want a flammable mattress. I get it, I understand. But then a young child is breathing in and actually touching and exposed to these cancer-causing chemicals. So I think with good intention, it was probably started. I mean, who doesn't like a non-stick pan? It's so much easier to clean. But again, toxic over time. Toxic with one use? No. Over time, yes. All right, let's go on with this article, and I'll link all those up in just a moment. So there's a documentary on the DuPont and Teflon chemicals called The Devil We Know. You want to check that out. The story is documented in that film. Class action lawsuit with linking Teflon chemicals to cancer. What are the health risks? Well, we talked about these just a little bit, but they are cancers, and I'll link them in just a moment. Well, actually, I'll go through them now. Testicular cancer, kidney cancer, liver cancer, and pancreatic cancer. They're also linked to high cholesterol from the inflammation in the arteries, thyroid disease, liver damage, asthma, allergies, and this states reduced vaccine response in children, and that is from Harvard Health. So all of this right here is from Harvard Health. I'm trying to give you a lot of different pinpoints on this, right? So it's like, okay, this is what Harvard Health says. This is what the Environmental Working Group says. This is what Water Safety says. This is what the White House is saying. So they're all saying the same thing. And it's also been linked to decreased fertility, newborn deaths, low birth weight, birth defects, and delayed development. So we have to understand is that these things are real. And that's why, again, natural health has to bring them up. Because you might say, well, all these tragedies happening to young children, cancer and Alzheimer's, and all these things are skyrocketing. What could they be from? Well, a lot of the toxicity. I talked about this 4 years in my book, The Rain Barrel Effect. It's no different today. The book holds true more today than it even did 4 years ago. So this is really important. I just want people to understand that there are consequences to big corporates and just when, and I know it's what people want. They're delivering what people want, but they're not doing it in a healthy way. We have to understand is that sometimes the conveniences that we get are not worth the potential cancer-causing effects as well. So this one right here, who's affected? Here, this is an unbelievable statistic. Unbelievable statistic. PFAS contaminants public drinking water systems, contaminated public water drinking systems in 49 states. I am actually looking for what state is not included in this, but it says, well, this new one says new data in 2,858 sites in 50 states and 2 territories. All right, so the latest data is all 50 states. I would have loved to have seen what state got away with it. I don't know, maybe Alaska, maybe Hawaii, probably not, but you know, who knows, now all 50 states. And again, I'll link that up for you as well. So I want to share with you just a couple of other notes here as well. We already know what we may be exposed to in terms of the water resistance, the personal care products, the flame retardants, the stain proofing. So what do you need to know? This is the most important thing. When you are looking for clothing, when you're looking for cosmetics, when you're looking for nutritional supplements, when you're looking for cookware, when you're looking for foods, you are looking for the things closest to nature. That's the bottom line. So yes, when you have organic food, you're also using organic pesticide-based sprays, but more natural, right? Like, or at least less deadly. And you should still wash off your produce. I'm not saying that. I've talked about that, you know, many times as well. What about cosmetics? You need to work with a company that is testing for heavy metals, that does not use these PFASs. When you're buying furniture, it'd be great to have all of the different stain guards and the flame retardants, but you really don't want that. Honestly, when I recommend certain mattresses that do the same thing, no glues, no flame retardants, nothing like that. So all the companies that I recommend at the time of recommending at least, and again, there are a lot, are all at stephencabral.com/resources. There's water filters there. It's one of the most important things that you can have in your house. A shower filter, a bath filter if you bathe for you or your children, and then a water, shower, and bath. Really important for your filters. Of course, air filters are really important as well, but we're not talking about the air today. We're talking about things that you actually touch. Try not to touch those receipts, you know, at a store. I know it seems like no big deal. Oh, it's just a receipt. I get it. I understand, and it's never one time. So if you touch a receipt, it's not the end of the world. What you don't want to do is be handling receipts all day long. Now, what if you work in retail? Try to wear gloves. I mean, that's the best thing that you can wear, right? Some like, not neoprene, you can do latex or non-latex based gloves. Try not to have those things touch your skin, because your skin it's transdermal. You're going to be able to absorb things through the skin. So just important that we understand that. I'll talk about detox in just a moment. But what I want to do is I also want to link up the territories where these products have potentially the most runoff because of where they're made. I'm going to link up the military sites as well as the actual manufacturers. So I hope this page doesn't get banned. So I'm going to link that up today at stephencabral.com/2617. And then what I want to talk about on a daily basis are just the simple things that you can do for you, children. Not all of these things are applicable, but for adults. I know it seems crazy, but even just, I don't know, 70 to 100 years ago, humans sweat much more doing more manual labor. Our bodies are meant to sweat. You might say, what does sweating have to do with any of this? Your skin is the largest excretory organ of the body. You may have heard that before. It just means that you can excrete the most waste and detox through your skin. Like, that's the ideal. And then your liver doesn't have to do as much work, your kidneys don't have to do as much work, and neither do your lungs. So if you can, sweat with exercise, sweat with sauna, sweat with the steam if you have that filtered water coming into your home. All of those things can be really beneficial. I mean, honestly, some of the best things that you can do. Move your lymphatic system as well. Use a rebounder, exercise, jump rope. Any of those things are going to move that lymphatic system as well. Dry brushing, even the heat from a sauna will help to move it as well. That's going to help detox and move through the body. Use detox. Well, do a functional medicine detox every quarter. No doubt about that. We just did our community detox, something amazing that you should be doing. You want to really ramp up detox and do a little bit of a longer fast every 12 weeks, every 3 months. I mean, it's not too much to ask for keeping your body healthy and clean. It's really not. We need to be doing this for sure, like without a doubt. And then on a daily basis, a lot of nutrients that your body needs. All the B vitamins, all of the antioxidants, the vitamin C. Get in those cruciferous vegetables like broccoli and cauliflower and bok choy. Those are some of my favorites. You can get in some asparagus, things that are going to help you with detoxification. If you don't have any gut-based issues, onions and garlic can also be helpful. A lot of sulfur in those too. And then just use even if you're just using one product, some type of daily activated multivitamin or the daily nutritional support that we use something to be able to help on a daily basis. So the sweating, what I didn't mention was water. About half your body weight in water per day. 160 pounds, 80 ounces per day, it's about 10 glasses of water. So again, smoothies count, tea counts, herbal tea counts, all of those things are great as well. You might need a little bit more, you might need a little bit less, but that's pretty much where you want it. So if you're moving your body, you're sweating, you're taking in a little bit of good, healthy nutritional supplements, you're doing a functional medicine detox, you're helping to fast for somewhere around 12 hours, maybe 14, 16 on a daily basis, you're gonna be really helping your body to a very large degree so that you don't need to worry about every single chemical you're coming into or in contact with. Now, again, still use your filters, try not to buy these toxic products, support good manufacturers, and it's gonna go a long way for both you and your family. So hopefully this was helpful. Please do feel free to share this episode with anybody that you feel it will serve. And I'll link everything up if you want to go deeper on this at stephencabral.com/2617. Take care, everybody. I'll talk with you tomorrow. Thanks so much for tuning into today's show. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I want to make sure that you're getting our daily content, not missing out on anything. Functional medicine, wellness, weight gain, weight loss, anti-aging, living longer, stronger, and all of the most cutting-edge research. And if there's any topics you want to hear, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Take care.